share. Um, all right, are you able to see my screen?
It's coming up. Yep.
Okay. How is it showing up big or little?
Sort of in between.
In between? Okay, I'm hoping you'll be able to see. Can you see the canvas screen there?
Yeah.
Okay. So starting back, anything in this module bonding needs to be completed. It's going on this 9 weeks. So if
Okay.
there's anything that you haven't completed in this module, which we started in the 1st of October, um, you need to make sure you get completed. So there are some videos there. If you see something like this, that means I've created a video explaining stuff. There's an extra credit activity. There's practice here, count items, and most of my assignments don't have a limit into turning in. So you can resubmit. And if you go into grades in Canvas and you see a little talking bubble to the far right of the grade, that means I've put a comment, so you may want to look at it. And if you've
Okay.
missed quite a few, then you can always, especially in Cami, unsubmit and redo it and resubmit.
Okay.
There's these videos from the 12th, identifying ionic and covalent bonds. Um, then video on where did my Google Meet? Oh, here it is. And then there's these oxidation numbers, Lewis dot structures, and some practice. And then here's a Google Meet recording from the 14th, where I've actually talked about some of these previous assignments here. So, and there's a makeup meet assignment that will show up in your Canvas if you were not on live with me. Everybody will have access to the recording, but the assignment will only show up to those who were not present. So you can make up that meet. Thursday, here is my lesson again for the meet. And then I think for this one, everybody it showed up for everybody because I was absent that day, had to take my child to the doctor. Friday was a teacher work day, so it was a time for you to catch up on anything in this bonding unit. And then today, I have it posted, but of course, the video will not be there. There will be a link to this recording here, and there's going to be ionic bond practice that you will do. So all of this is in the second 9 weeks. So you've got to be working on this and getting it turned in because we're going to just keep on going. We've got to talk about covalent bonding. We're going to talk about naming um, ionic and covalent bonds before we finish up this unit. So, what I'm going to do is switch over, and I'm hoping you can see this. It may be small with the way I'm having to share my screen, but this allows me to write on it so we can go through some stuff together. Also, I will put the link back for the periodic table since I hid the other units. I will add that when we get off because you will need access to the periodic table from what we do from this point on. So, if you looked at last Thursday's lesson, I went over electron dot diagrams. So, for example, if we had, and I'm going to put over here, sodium, which is Na, and we looked on the periodic table, sodium would be in the first column, which is group 1. That means it has one valence electron, so it would have one dot up here on the top. If,
I just found that,
huh?
I just found that out. I had it. I went to YouTube and watched some videos, and I just found out that the columns are are how many valence electrons they got.
Yes, I went over this in the Google Meet from on I think Thursday in that recording, and it should have been in some of the videos that I had posted. So it says here in our steps is to draw the electron dot structures for the elements. So I may be jumping ahead. I may be doing the exact same example that I'm going to do on the next page, but chlorine is in group 17 or group 7A. So it's going to have 7 valence electrons. So you always start by putting 4 on one on each side, and then you're going to go back and fill in like this. If you have 8, it is considered stable and it will not bond with anything. So anything in the column 18 or group 8A will have 8 valence electrons and they will not bond with anything. So what you're going to do here is it says transfer electrons using an arrow from metal to nonmetal. So I'm going to take, there's a spot empty right here. So this electron is going to go here. So now chlorine has 8. Sodium in that ring that it has, the second ring it has, it's now missing that one, so it falls back to the first electron level, and so it is considered full as long as they are joined because sodium transferred that electron, they are going to bond. So then you would write the chemical equation. All right, so notice though it said you would add elements as needed and continue transferring until all atoms are stable. We're going to do an example where that we would need to do that. So to write the chemical equation, I just have each one of these. I only needed them one time looking at the symbols. So I would write NaCl. So that is the chemical equation. Um, and I think this is the example that was here. So yes, sodium chlorine. So if I move oops, didn't mean to do that. Forget I have to switch my tool here. So if I move this, we have sodium, we have chlorine, and so because it transfers one, is everybody's happy, it is NaCl. So we're going to now go here. Aluminum and chlorine. Aluminum is in group 13 or 3A. So we know that aluminum would, oops, let me get my pen again. Aluminum would have 3 valence electrons. And I may not have written that in a very good spot. All right, and we know chlorine has, and I'm going to do one down here. Chlorine has, we just did it, 7 because it's in group 17. All right, so what we're going to find out is this one electron here will go to this chlorine. Well, aluminum still has 2 electrons here that it needs to give away to be stable. So we would need to add another chlorine. Remember, it has 7. And that one is going to go there. It still has another one that it needs to share. So I'm going to draw another chlorine. Since I know it's 7, I already know kind of how. And I'm going to draw an arrow. So when I write the formula this time, so let me go here, move this, so that's what's there. So when I go to write the formula this time, I only have 1 aluminum, but I have 3 chlorines. So I don't write it 3 times. I'm going to put a little 3 right there. So that is its formula. So I've used the periodic table. And again, I'll put the link back so you can get to it. And I knew that what group they were in tells me how many dots I put around. Remember, if the periodic table doesn't have like 1A, 2A, 3A, it may have 1 to 18. If it's aluminum is in group 13, which is also group 3A, just cover up the one, what is in the tens, yeah, tens place, and use that number for valence electrons. So this is how you draw it to get the formula. This is sort of the easiest way. Also, to review something that we did or I talked about on Friday, let me get a different color, is the oxidation numbers. And the oxidation numbers, for example, for metals, is going to be whatever their valence electrons are. So aluminum's oxidation number is going to be 3 plus because it's going to give those away. If it gives them away, it has more protons than electrons, so it's positive. Your gases, though, you have to look and see how many more electrons does it need. And chlorine just needs one more electron, so it has a negative. We don't write the one, we just put a negative. So that was in what I did in an example like this on Thursday. So if you haven't watched that Google Meet, you want to do that so that you can do the assignment that was assigned easier. So on this next page, I'm going to go through a couple of these practice here, and I may have to call up a periodic table because my memory is somewhat good, but I want to make sure I am doing it right. So let me just pull one up. Let's see. That one will work. If I can get the image to show up pretty big. Will it let me scroll over? Oop, nope. Darn. All right, so I can flip over here to this one if I need to. I've got my screen split so I can't always see what's going on over here. Okay, get this out of the way. Go away, go away, go away. Let's see if I can pull a little bit this way. Nope. Well, darn. Wanted to make this go away. Is it not going to go away? There should be an X here. I want that to go away. All right, well, that's close enough. I can see that. All right, so if I go back here, you need potassium. I know that potassium is K. And I know that chlorine is Cl. We've already done chlorine so much. I know that it's 7. I know potassium is in group 1, and has 1 dot. A lot of these, like potassium and sodium, they use their Latin names. So that's why their potassium is not a P, it's a K. And where sodium is not a S, it's a Na. All right, so all I'm going to do here is I'm going to draw an arrow to where it is. I see that I have no more dots around K. I have 8 counting the arrow around Cl. So I'm finished. And so this is part of your answer. And the other part is that right there. All right, magnesium. Let me do a different color for each one. Magnesium is Mg. And if I flip back over here real quick to make sure it's in group 2, so I know it has 2 dots. Fluorine, I believe, is with chlorine, but I will double check. Yep, it's 7. So if you notice with fluorine and magnesium, I'm going to have to add another magnesium. Oh, not another magnesium. Somebody correct me here. What am I going to have to add another of? Not magnesium, but fluorine. All right, so when I write this one, I have 1 magnesium, but I have 2 fluorine, so I have to put a subscript of 2. All right, I'm going to check. I know aluminum is 3. I'm going to check nitrogen. Nitrogen is 5. So I'm going to go here. Let me get a different color. Let's try green. All right, so aluminum is Al. It has 3.
My Chromebook's having
And
problems.
all right, what's its problem?
It's doing like it keeps bringing up the proxy sign in, and then my internet keeps going out.
Well,
Like
I don't know.
my Chromebook
That
was
might.
the reason I left earlier is because my Chromebook was at 66% charged, and it's on the charger. It's been on the charger, but it powered off for some reason.
Okay.
I might have to.
Um, you may. I don't know if you can, when that proxy message pops back up, if you will take a screenshot of it and email it to me,
Yeah, I can
and
do. I can join Google Meet.
with a description. Well, this if you email a screenshot to me, then I can forward that to the tech people, and they can that lets them see it, and they can give instructions of what to do.
And I'm gonna do it right now.
Okay. And then put in there in the email a description about that it's been on the charger and it's only charged for 60% and then it went black or whatever
It
and
just
or cut off whatever it did. Give me a description and I can copy and paste that over. And if there's what will probably happen is the tech person would probably like to be able to speak with you. And so I don't know if they would want to do that via telephone or via Google Meet. So you may want to put a phone number in, whether it's your aunt's or yours, so that if they needed to contact you, they could.
oh, with my phone, I can't like my in phone mic is broken, so I'd have to call them. They'd have to message me so I could call them because I have a Bluetooth speaker that's got a mic in
Okay.
it, so I can use it.
Okay. Well, I mean, I was just telling you, I don't know if they'll do a Google Meet, if they will call, what they will do. I can say that doing a Google Meet might be best with you. I don't know, but if you have to restart your computer, then that wouldn't work. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So I could tell them that they would need to text you first and you would have to call them. Anyway, put all that information in the email you send to me. All right, back to aluminum and nitrogen. Nitrogen has 5. So aluminum has 3, and that seems to work out very well because aluminum shares all 3 with that one nitrogen. So you have ALN. If you happen to use iodine or anything, anytime you see a straight line like this, that's going to be a lowercase l. I like to always, if I'm talking capital I always like to put the top and bottom. Sometimes now that we do a lot of typing, that's not always an option with fonts. So usually if you see 2 capital letters, you'll know the third one is a lowercase l if you're unsure. It's not a capital I. All right, phosphorus. Let me go double check phosphorus real quick. Phosphorus is also like nitrogen. It is in group 5. So I'm going to pull another color. I guess I'm going to do yellow. I don't know how well that's going to show up. All right, so I'm going to do magnesium, Mg. I know that it's 2 from where I've used it a while ago. Phosphorus is 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Now, this is going to be interesting because I'm going to use my magnesium. I still have another uh, 1 here. So if I add a magnesium, all right, look at that. I now have to add another phosphorus. Phosphorus has 5, right? And oh, I still have 2. So I'm going to add another magnesium. I'm going to try to squeeze it in down here. All right, so it took 2 magnesiums, so Mg2, and it took, nope, nobody's correcting me. It took 3 magnesiums, one, two, three, 2 phosphorus. Your metal always goes first in ionic bonds. Metals always go first. Um, One other thing that I'm not sure if it came across clear or not in any of the videos, and I wanted to mention there is a term, 2 terms. I pronounce it cation. That should be an O. In the videos, they may pronounce it a little bit different. Anion. All right, cation are always your positive. These are going to be your metals. Anions are going to be your negatively charged ions. These are going to usually be your nonmetals. So just 2 terms that you may see, cation, anion. Cations are positive. They're going to be your metals. Anions are your nonmetals. All right, so let's look back at what you're going to have to do today. And if you haven't watched Thursday's Google Meet, you're going to want to do that because the first part of this is kind of reviewing some of that. So we've got bonding practice here. And it says, after attending the Google Meet session and hear the instructions on how to draw ionic bonds, complete the document below. You will need to use the drawing tool and do the best that you can to show me the ionic bondings in part 2. It actually might be part 3. All right, so this first part, you're using the periodic table and you're putting number of protons, the group number, the valence electrons. So group number and valence electrons will be the same if your group number is like 1A, 2A, 3A, 4A. But if you don't have the A's, like this periodic table here, and it has just numbers, oops, I just took my screen away. Can y'all see anything? What do you see? All right, let me stop presenting. I got to call it back. I don't know where my screen went.
It's a blank screen right now.
Yeah, no, here it is. Okay, okay. Um, I was using my fingers and did something. Okay, right. Irritating me. All right, go away, go away. All right, so on this periodic table, uh, we have 1 through, I declare. Notice there's no A's, so it goes up to 18. In this case, your group number would be 13 here, but your valence electrons is only going to be 3 when you go to do this chart here. So depending on the periodic table you're using. Remember your oxidation numbers from my lesson on last Thursday. If it's a metal, it's going to be positive, whatever the group number is. So positive, or how many valence electrons it has. Um, if it is a nonmetal, you take the number of valence electrons and subtract it from 8 to get your oxidation number, and it'll be a negative. An ion is going to be the symbol with the 3 plus or the 3 minus, whatever the oxidation number is. So that's how you complete the top chart there. When you've completed this, it wants you to tell, I am not having any luck with this. Go away. All right, when it says how many form cations, you're looking for which one has positive charges, and you're writing those. Anions are the negative charges. Um, when it says what does aluminum need in order to become stable, you're thinking if it's a metal, it's giving away electrons, so it's got to give away whatever its oxidation number is. What does phosphorus need? If it's a nonmetal, you're thinking how many electrons does it need to receive to become stable? Part two is a review of the counting. So I need to change my directions up here. It's part three that you'll be using the drawing tool to try to draw. So remember from this, you take each symbol, and if there is a subscript, that's how many atoms it is. If there is no subscript, it's one. So for like 6, Na has one atom and Cl has one atom. If it's a parentheses, you have to use distributive property. So I did a separate, I think, video on that before we started having these required Google Meets where I had to record them. I keep. Then this last part three, is where you'll need to use the drawing tool, which is right here. And you will need to draw your best, like I just did in the lesson. You're doing the electron dot diagram. Well, it's not showing. Shoot. It's loading on my end. So you're going to need to draw the best you can using your mouse. You could type in the symbol if you wanted to and make it a larger font. Then use your drawing tool to do the bonds or the valence electrons. Then use your drawing tool to draw the arrow. And then you could type in the symbol. So I hate that that's not showing here. Um, Should be showing. It's loading. It's probably because my children may be on a Google Meet too. Um, and so that's this assignment. But remember, you need to get in all these previous assignments here. Okay? Anything that's missing, and if you do not know or understand how to do it, you need to message me. If If you haven't joined my Remind, I'm going to take you to that because you can't get to this anymore. This is how you do this. You go to, um, you text 81010 3 Noah at 3 Noel class. And that's the best way to get a hold of me because you can message me. So if I go into my Remind account, I will see if any of you guys are in it. Um, Only Nicholas has joined my Remind for third block. So you don't have to have a phone to join it. You can go to remind.com and log in with your school Google account. And when you get into it, you would say join a class. There would be a tab or a button on the left hand side. Join a class. You would type in at 3 Noel class and send it, and then you would be joined. Any questions about anything that I have gone over? Any questions? If you need to re-see this, I'll have it posted in just a little bit. I'm going to stop presenting. I've got to get off because my youngest has got to have a Google Meet with her teacher, and she takes my attention. So work on getting anything done in this unit complete. You've got this one assignment today. I think I put it due for tomorrow. Those are the things that you need to work on. Any questions?
So I have a question.
Did you unmute your mic?
So if the assignment says if it's locked, can I still get to it?
Nope, because that was last 9 weeks.
Okay.
That was last 9 weeks.
But if
We
it
finished
shows
with that
that
9 weeks.
you're available and he's actually able to go into the assignment, he's able to submit the assignment. This is his dad.
Yeah.
Hello. Oh, yeah.
Oh, hi.
So I'm just trying to help him get caught up now. I'm on lunch at work for another 30 minutes. So,
All right. Let me share my screen again so you can see. Um, just do a tab. Let me find that tab. All right, let me go back here. Everything, oops, I didn't want to go there. Everything from last 9 weeks I've locked so that you can see more on mine because I'm teacher view. All right, so the unit we're in right now is bonding,
okay.
and anything in here is open because I always leave it open. I put a due date, but I don't make it where it's closed.
Okay.
So anything in here, and for example, the videos, they always have questions and they're self-grading. So he watches the video, it'll pause at some point and ask a question that he has to answer. Before he answers, he can rewatch that segment to try to find the answer.
Gotcha.
Um, and for this one right here, it says Miss Noel explains. This one's got a video in here with me explaining counting atoms. The next thing, this is if I use these exclamation points, it's extra credit. Um, then this is practice counting atoms. So he's submitted this, and I've got to grade it. I I think this is the one he submitted, and noticed a couple things that are incorrect. So when he goes to grades, on the grade page, he should see the assignment name. He would see a grade. And to the far right, there will be a little bubble, like a speak bubble, if there's a comment. And I might put on there, um, you can resubmit, you can redo, and, and fix the ones that he's missed. And then he can resubmit. I was in the process of grading. I don't think I finished that. There are some videos here identifying ionic and covalent bonds here in the Google Meet on 1014. There's a recording there. I believe I went over that, so he may want to watch that first.
Okay.
And for all this stuff in Tuesday, finding oxidation numbers and things, we got a little behind and I just didn't move them around. The lesson on 1015 talks about that section. So he'd want to do the two videos and listen to my lesson before then. And then for those students who don't join my Google Meet, in their account, they would see everybody sees this one because I was absent Thursday. So he would have to watch my Google Meet and then do a 3 sentence summary, which I think he did do that one already. I know somebody did. And so I'll go in. I haven't started grading this stuff because I wanted last 9 weeks stuff finished.
Right.
Friday was a work day. And so it was sort of a catch up. And then we just talked about today's work with that activity, but I put today's activity due tomorrow, um, just because I knew that some needed to work on this right here. Now, what you can do, and this is what I do with my daughter, I'm going to stop sharing my screen now.
Yeah.
You can join as a parent and see Canvas, but the problem is you can't see what your child has done or submitted. So
Gotcha.
on my phone, I got the student app and I logged
Yeah.
in with my daughter's information. And so I can go to the grades in there and I can see it'll say submitted when they submit it, and I can see that they've submitted it. Or I see more if I'm logged in as her
Yeah.
versus logged in as an observer. So I tried it as the parent side, and I just couldn't tell when she submitted stuff.
I'm familiar
And
with Canvas myself. It's what my computer career uses for all my
oh,
classes.
okay, all right, good. But that's why for me, I had to do that as a parent. I had to just say give me your credentials. I logged in as her so I could just double check that she submitted stuff. And it was a lot easier for me as a parent that way. Um, the issue for James here for last semester or last 9 weeks is he most of the stuff he submitted was blank. So he
Right.
would submit it to be submitting it. And the Google Meets that we were having in the afternoons at that point, sometimes he'd be on, sometimes he wouldn't. He's not asking questions. So I don't know when he's not understanding, if he's not asking me questions. And there was one time he did set up an appointment, but my principal set a meeting at the same time, and I had to be at that meeting. So we never could connect to get back together on a
Gotcha.
time to meet. Um, but now that we're for this remote, when everybody's remote, we at this time every day we're live, at 10:30, and we're supposed to
Gotcha.
be on for 30 minutes, and I'm recording it. I'm trying to explain the assignments, where that may not have necessarily occurred before, depending on what we were doing. But he's got to ask me questions, and if he's unsure before he submits, if he joins Remind, he can send me a text and just say, I've got some questions. Can we meet? Because that
Is that
pops
a
up.
web interface that he'd be able to use, or
Yeah, he can go to remind.com and
okay?
log in with his school email and join my class. And to join it, it's 3 Noel class all written together. And then when he
All right.
joins, he can text that way. He can send me a message and it pops up on my phone as a text. And it pops up a lot quicker than
Gotcha.
email because sometimes I get so many emails popping up that I don't always see when it's a student. So, but he's
Gotcha.
got to make, he needs to make at least a C this 9 weeks, because I'm not sure
All right.
what they're going to require for a final exam. So I'm not sure if there's going to
All
be.
right. Another question that I do have to ask real quick,
Yeah.
since I've got you on actual conference. Um, my father's health has been declining pretty rapidly since July of this
Okay.
year, and he's been having to help out a lot with day-to-day chores for Pop.
Okay.
So, um, I was wondering if there was any way he could get a credit towards extra credit or something because he is doing a lot for his grandfather at this point in time.
Well, the one thing I can do is if he can do, like if doing an assignment, if he can do, say, half, like this one for today has 3 parts. So if he could do, um, in the first part, it has metals and non-metals that he has to do something with. If he could do 2 metals, 2 non-metals, and in part 2, if he could do 2 of those, and if in the last part, if he could do 2 of those instead of doing
Mm-hmm.
all of them, that would be one way to help. That way, it's less that
Okay.
he has to do. But if when I grade it, if they're not correct, I'll try to
They have a higher weight.
I'll try to be better at getting a message to him, but he's got to check his grades to look for a little bubble there, and then he can redo, or he can conference with me, and then he can do a couple of the others to make up for it. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it sure
So
does.
we can do that. But you've got to do, when we do tests and quizzes, those are a have to. Okay.
Okay.
You can't turn it in blank.
All right.
Okay.
And those, I think he was either attempting, or because he turned in blank, he wasn't doing well on.
Yeah,
So
and those give you a higher percentage weight on the grade.
yeah, those are a higher percentage. And
Well, you're up to 50. So
You're getting better. We got to work on
yeah,
you, boy.
yeah. So the main thing is asking
And
questions, and then if we can at least,
another thing, I'll be a lot more able to help him now because I am doing remote work from home now.
okay,
So
all right,
Literally, my commute for lunch is walk out my bedroom.
Okay. um, and I mean, it seems like I sign a lot, but we have a lot that we have to cover, and we should have. And even when we're face to face all the time, I still don't get all of chemistry covered in physical science in the first 9 weeks like it's supposed to. Um, and so, we're about where I would normally be face to face, but it's still a little bit harder just because that's why I put a lot of the videos is because it's somebody, other than me. And now I'm trying to get more of my videos up there as well to help.
Do you have any suggestions as far as outside resources that he could look into to learn a little bit more about this on his own time as well,
If
by
he
chance?
if he would do a search for CK12, that is an online textbook that is free,
Mm.
and it would have like if he wanted, he could do CK12 and then search for ionic bonding, or because that's what we're talking about, and it would have some stuff there. That would be the easiest. Khan Academy, which is also
Okay.
free. Um, you can go into Khan Academy. They're a little boring, but there's a lot of videos there. But
Good
he's a
information.
little the guy that does them kind of a little bit boring. But the CK12 is made more toward K-12 education, so it would be more on
Gotcha.
his level. And some of them has, depending on how you search it and get into it, you can find an advanced, sort of a beginning and an advanced type thing. But that would be the one thing. I've
Right.
assigned some readings from those before. I don't know if it was this class or my biology, but um, anyway, that would be the best thing. Would be those two, because I'm pulling a lot of the videos I
Okay.
use. He could search the name of the video in YouTube and watch it without it stopping with the questions as well. Um, and some of the folks I pull videos from, they have their own channel and they have multiple videos. One, Moo Science is one I use a lot. Um, Trying to think, I can't think of the other guy that I use for physical science. But you can find a lot of them out on YouTube, and they would have others and things. It depends on if he's more of a, auditory, visual. If reading is not his thing, then that would be the thing. Like I said, Khan Academy's pretty good, except they can get more in depth, and also he's kind of boring. So,
Gotcha. Well, I'm going to go ahead
okay,
and finish my lunch. I just wanted to
all
touch
right,
base real quick and get that covered. So I'm going to get on him when I
all
get
right,
done with work, and we're going to
okay.
get him caught
And
up.
don't forget, whatever your fourth block is, they meet at 12. So I think it's 8:20 is first block, 9:25 is second block, 10:30 was third block, which is my class, and then 12 is fourth block. And
No PE.
they should be on each person's Canvas page with their link.
All right.
On the home page, there should be a link there for each person with the time.
All right.
All right.
Thanks so much.
Okay. Thank you.